Good afternoon. This is Ifan from the Strategic Day Trader, and this is your market wrap for January 23rd, 2019. Bit of a recovery there from the Qs, was down after gapping up, going to close just up 0.13%, and the SPY just short of 0.25% there. Again, showing a little bit of relative strength to the Qs. We've seen that for the last couple weeks here. Okay, so good afternoon. All right, just got the Facebook broadcast going there. Hope you're doing well. We'll just recap the numbers here on the Qs, up 0.13%, and the SPY up 0.21%. Initially gapped up and then got sold, was down on the day for a bit, but able to recover a bit. Doesn't really change our bias. Okay, we were looking for a sell setup as a good timing for a short. What is a sell setup? Series of higher lows and then the break of those higher lows on the hourly here, and that's what we got some good follow through and setting up another sell setup. Okay, so gonna carry the bearish bias into tomorrow. Okay, underneath this bottoming tail is where that sell setup gets going. Okay, underneath this bottoming tail, that's the most recent showing of support there. All right, you can see the uptrend on the hourly has been broken. Okay, so that is why we are moving from a neutral bias, which we had before, and now focused on the weekly sell setup that is forming and the hourly sell setup that's in place there. Okay, earnings coming out tonight and tomorrow could throw a wrench in things, could see a little bit of a change and shift in momentum. Where would we lose the bearish bias would be over the sell setup that we were anticipating for today. Okay, so over 163.51 on the Qs and over 264.80 on the SPY. We'll be back to neutral. Okay, so we will just lose that bearish bias. For now, maintaining the bearish bias. Okay, we had a lot of gap ups today along with the market. I think some people reported some good numbers, some good gap ups. I got some follow through in the open, but we're not able to sustain them. Something like the PG worked off the open and then kind of closed at the lows there. The IBM also kind of took off at the open and then came in as the market came in as well. Okay, so there wasn't a lot, I thought, as far as gaps that were especially high quality. The most high quality thing I saw today was the LRN gap bully. Okay, if you're not familiar with this strategy, it's a gap that, in the case of a gap down, clears support and then at the open runs up and clears resistance. Okay, as you can imagine, if you put yourself in the position of people who are in this, if you're short, you're thinking, wonderful, it's gapping down, I'm gonna have a great profitable trade on this. If you're long, you're thinking, I better get out before it turns into a disaster. Now, if you're short and it does this right at the open, right? You can imagine the first 5 minutes, bam, right? Goes right up to there. It's unchanged on the day, even up on the day. Your short position is turning negative. Okay, now if you're long and you thought, well, I need to get out before this turns into a disaster, and you're looking at it and it's up here now, you're thinking, oh, I have to get back in. I knew this was higher, right? Should have been in it. I'm not going to let this go without me. So what does that do? That leaves shorts left to cover, longs left to get back in. This serves to shake people out. So this is a very, very good gap bully. Bullied the gap, right? The opposite would be like this NTRS, which buried the gap, okay? Which gapped up over some resistance and then sold. Now this didn't quite get through support there, okay? So then how do we get into these? Okay, my preference is on a 5-minute pullback at the rising 20. The 5-minute is the one that I like to focus on because typically if I look at the 1 and the 2, it's such a big move already that you have to expect some kind of pullback. 5-minute gives it enough time to kind of digest and set it up for another move higher. So you could have played this one, right, off of the 20 MA here, or this one. It so happened that in this case, the breakout did work as well, okay? But yeah, these are the ones that I like more. So this one kind of went back and forth on. It just so happened as this was coming up, there was a little bit of spread. I was trying to pull up the order and also type it into the room, just didn't get it in fast enough. Okay. And I'm not one to, if it's too late for you to get in at the proper position, for me to say, well, you know, what a great winner for us all after the fact. Okay. So that's just part of it. Sometimes you're going to come across something just a little bit late. It wasn't that it wasn't on our radar. We're actually looking at it as a potential short, but actually bullied very quickly and should have been watched a little bit more closely for long. So just kind of missed that entry there, right there. It was only a 20-cent stop or so, give or take, because of the spread. But the LRN, so that's going to be, you know, your really powerful move. This is a strategy that I've been trying to hone since 2016, and it's one that's had some of my biggest plays in. Look at this TPIC here, right? Same idea. Notice the similarities between this TPIC. Gaps down, breaks to the other side of the 20 MA, right? And then powers right through into void. So these are the ones, and now is the time. I know we don't get a lot of good gap bullies and gap berries. I've only called one this year so far, and that was the ESPR on this day. Remember, it gapped up and then got sold. Okay, so this is kind of the reverse picture there, right? And we had this ADT was a really good one. This is been kind of another one that is kind of your ideal picture here, right? Gaps up and gets sold, and you want to just get in it and try to be in it until the end of the day, right? So that's what you want to look for on the LRN. So, you know, it does take some discipline when things are up working really well to be able to think, okay, well, maybe it just keeps going. And especially this at all-time, no, not all-time highs, I guess multi-year highs. Last time I was here was 2013. To really sit through it and be in it. And you saw, you know, I went over the TME on Friday, which we got out at $14, okay, which at the time, right, on this long seemed like a good idea. This was just a pro gap, not a gap bully. But then look at that, you know. So it's just, if it's within your management to have some kind of plan to be in it through the end of the day, to not react to every pullback, you know, now is the time. And I think this is meant to be a reminder for you as much as it is for me that these are the times where the big moves are going to occur. Okay. Now, like I said, this LRN pullback, what else was good about this LRN? Okay. Was look at the cues when it was doing this pullback. So it's prior to lunch, right? Prior to 12 o'clock. Look at the cues. Lower, lower, lower all morning. And this LRN can't get off the high. So what does that tell you? Whether the market was flat or uptrending, this was going to be getting bought. Okay, whatever the market was doing, doesn't matter how much the market was being sold, this was ready to go higher, just could not come off the highs there. Okay, so this is the relative strength I was looking for. There was one other gap berry that I looked at that actually did set up. But if you're with me on the mic, I said it looked good, but I'm just not interested. Here's your sell setup, right? At the declining 20, right? Got sold, gapped up, and got sold. At the declining 20, I'm just not looking for a short right now. I want something with relative strength, right? Because the market has been selling off all morning. We're into lunch. A lot of times that ends up being a reversal. You can see the NTRS reversed at the same time that the market also reversed. Okay, reversed right there. So yeah, as soon as I came on the mic, that was the focus, find something long. We were just probably a minute, less than a minute late to getting this one, and that's just gonna happen. You know, this is the kind of thing we're looking for. Found it just a little bit late. So I just wanted to go over this. We'll get more. I'll continue to focus on this strategy as well as the pro gaps. We wish we got more of these on a daily basis, but they're just not as frequent as the pro gaps, right? So, you know, we have earnings, and so focus on those earnings names over the next couple days, all right? And even the next couple weeks, yeah, but just to close out the week, for sure, that's what we'll be focused on. Market still hasn't really picked a direction. We do have a bearish bias. We know where the bearish bias gets canceled out, right? Over this pivot. Okay. And then other than that, it's just business as usual. Now, hopefully you are taking advantage of the open house that's going on in the Strategic Day Trader. It's free. There's a link in the description that you can sign up and join and then get these trades. Okay, get these trades. We'll go over anything, other symbols that people are interested in that you want reviewed. We go over that too, but we mainly focus on trying to call trades for you to follow along, call them ahead of time, tell you where our exits are going to be, right? Just full transparency on what we're trading. Okay, so we are going to continue the open house. It will be for the next 2 days. Thursday, Friday will be the last day. There is a special going on, so if you decide that it's something that you like, that it's for you, that you could benefit from it, now's the best time. So you get to come experience it for free, ask any questions that you like, and kind of see how we trade. Okay, so that'll be going on for the next couple of days. It's been going on all week, but I think the earnings season's just heating up here, so now's as good a time as any. Okay, so we'll see what the market brings us tomorrow. Okay, bearish bias until we take out that pivot. All right, and then I will talk to you then. Okay, have a great evening.